Hey there, folks. Welcome to yesterday's news for 8/8/18. The day said the same no matter which continent you're on. First I want to apologize for abruptly ending the video yesterday. The phone call I got was my wife telling me that somebody had broken into our house while they were gone. And so that caused issues. It wasn't a big deal. It turned out to be one of the neighbor kids who has mental issues. And one of our kids had just left the door unlocked, and he just sort of wandered in and helped himself to some cereal. So I'm going to try to finish the thought I was on a little bit. And so what I was talking about was concealed carry and gun rights and a concept that I'm calling distributed security, which is fairly similar to the original militia concept that is talked about in the Second Amendment. And really the idea is that the goal is that you have people ready, willing, able, and properly equipped to use force in the defense of self and others, distributed throughout society, and they're ready to go at any time. That was the idea of the militia, and that's the idea I think we should have for concealed carry. The threats are different. We're not worried about tribal warfare on the frontier anymore, but we do have crime, and it turns out that it's a pretty effective tool for reducing crime. And one of the problems that I see in the debate in the U.S. is that it's too tied in with the general gun rights debate. And so there's a lot of people who are, uncomfortable with general gun rights, who could get very much on board with distributed security, who we're missing because we're not having the conversation about distributed security. And then on top of that, we don't really go far enough on the pro side, because we're like, we have our rights, we're done, problem solved. We got the second half of the Second Amendment taken care of. But we forget about that first half. And that first half is that we have a responsibility to act as a militia and be a distributed security force for the country. And if we're not taking that seriously, we're not getting all the benefits out of the Second Amendment that we could be. So that was my thought on that. So back to today's topic. So in the caption and everything, my frustration is that people keep treating Islam as if it's a race, and it's not. It's an ideology. And the story that got me frustrated about this was that there is supposedly a Muslim woman who won the Democratic primary in Michigan, I think it was, and she's going to be the first Muslim woman in Congress. But then they show a picture of her. She's not wearing a hijab. She's not. So it's like she's a non-practicing Muslim, which means she's not a Muslim. She's a person she's a Middle Eastern person who maybe has family who's Muslim. That's not the same thing as being a Muslim. That's not the same thing as practicing a religion. Islam is a religion, not a race. And the problem is it's an ideology with some serious problems, and too many people are trying to treat it as if it's just this thing that's just indelible in certain people, and we can't criticize it because it's like a race. So, you can't criticize people for their racial characteristics, because that would be wrong, which I agree with that. But Islam is not a race. It's an ideology. It's an idea, and there are big problems with that idea, and we should talk about that. And so Yeah, and that's about all the point there is to it. We can't, Islam can't reform. We can't integrate people. We can't have proper immigration policy. We can't have any of these things figured out if we keep pretending like Islam is a people group and an ethnic group and not a seriously problematic ideology. So, yeah, religions are ideas, not identities. I'm not a Christian because my parents are Christians and I was born in America. I'm a Christian because I believe that Jesus was God. If I stop believing that, I stop being a Christian. Growing up in America doesn't make you a Christian. Believing in a certain set of ideas makes you a Christian. And as it turns out, those ideas seem to work because it was the foundation of Western civilization. First civilization to end slavery, end poverty, end starvation, conquer most diseases. I think that kind of worked. But this is not meant to be a rant about comparative religion, just a rant about you got to recognize that a religion is not a race, and it's okay to criticize a religion. You're not being racist if you criticize the ideas contained within a religion. That's okay. It's okay to do that, and please do, because some religions have issues that need to be talked about. So, including Christianity, there's plenty of issues in the Christian world, not nearly the magnitude as Islam. I don't know when the last Christian suicide bomber was, but it was a long time ago. And they were probably not particularly motivated by the teachings of Jesus. So, yeah, Islam's not a race. It's okay to criticize it. And if somebody gets offended by that, that's their problem, not yours, not mine. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if it was a bit ranty, but if you did enjoy it, like, share, subscribe, and if not, continue to ignore me. And I'll see you tomorrow.